the last question.
Are you a full
participant?
I
What you
participate?
Yes.
I'm Erin. I work in COGOT. Everything that the Wellness Center does.
How about your coworkers? Do you bring them along?
Yes, actually, COGOT brings a lot. Usually, the admissions team will come.
Okay.
They're busy today.
Is Judy still working there?
She is. She's the director of admissions.
That's good. Tell her I said hello.
Yeah, she usually is here today.
Yeah, it's time of year, so, great, thank you.
I'm Lisa. I work in Cadson. I come to everything. I got some of my coworkers. We did the pedometer challenge last semester, so great.
I'm Tasha. I'm a career teacher. I come to several things.
I feel like everyone's like checking the box.
Yeah.
What activities do you do? Tell us what activities that you do at Waste Sponsor.
Yoga, I did boot camp, I did pedometer challenge.
Good.
And Zumba.
Good.
I'm Marianne, and I work in SIS. I have never been to any of these, but I've done the pedometer challenge the last 3 years.
How about your colleagues in SIS? Are they aware of such a wonderful program we have?
Probably not. They all do the pedometer challenge.
Okay.
We compete in our building.
Yeah.
It's really funny. But I didn't even know about this. But now that I've been here, I'll
Could become our spokesperson.
Exactly.
Be
You
our
have some,
champion.
you have some colleagues in SIS that do things.
Oh, really?
Sarah Goldberg.
Oh, yeah,
she's
Sarah
a big
does
champion
stuff,
for us,
yeah.
so she usually drags people along.
Good. Very good.
I'm Lindsay. I work for the econ department.
Uh-huh.
I've only really been to these in kind of the cooking demonstrations, but I also done like my work day and other kind of sporadic events like that. But I think it's great. So
Good. And you probably don't have a huge staff over you.
no, there's me and one other person. Yeah.
Well, you can bring faculty too, but they're a little bit.
Yeah, they kind of do. They do their own thing. So
Yeah.
I'm not gonna complain.
We do.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm Renee. I was in COGOT, and I've come to a lot of these.
Good.
Mostly cooking demonstration. I did the pedometer challenge. I done a lot of brown bags.
Uh-huh. Great. So,
I'm gonna have to sneak out a little early though. So.
okay, that's all right.
We won't hold it against you.
Yeah, thank you for coming down. So you are all familiar with what's currently going on with the faculty staff program right now with all the free activity classes? Yes. So have any of you gone? Zumba. Okay, that seems to be the popular one from what Matt tells
And
me.
are you? You're
How-
missing yoga right now to do this. So.
Yes. How about anyone else? No?
Not
You're
yet.
familiar
Start
with the
next week.
schedule? What do you think the barriers are to getting there?
Mine
Busy
has just been
schedule?
in advising. I haven't taken a lunch break in
Yes.
the last month. So this is the first lunch break I've taken
Good,
in a
well,
month.
thank you for sharing. So, well, please let us know, or certainly let Mark and Matt know, because the whole opportunity is to get those classes filled, because if they're not with higher participation, we're going to end up losing our space. So our goal this semester is make it a need, show that there's a demand and there's a need and participation, which keeps them going, so.
And there are classes before and after work also, so if lunch is tough for you, just to let you know. Sometimes
Work at 8.
because our lunch schedule is what most people know about, but we do have some classes
before 8.
They go 7 to 8, so you could skip out of it. So we have those Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. So they're free if you're a fitness center member. If you're not a member, it's $5 per class to drop in. Just know that as faculty and staff members, if you're full time, it costs you $16.70 per month to become a member. So if you're thinking about maybe going to 3 or more classes a month, it's a better deal to just become a member. And you can do payroll deduction or comes right out.
ribbon cutting. So did they redo the other locker
They did.
rooms? So they are, I haven't been down there, but like anyone seen them? Apparently they're quite nice, so, just another incentive if you wanted to go. I think the morning is still quiet, in the locker room, so if you needed to get in and shower, so. But today's topic, is on travel. So one of the first things when Matt and I talked about this is, we have, what I frame as two different types of travel. Maybe you'll challenge me that there's more, but at least in my sort of simple mind, I put a business travel and I put of leisure or family travel, right? So in front of you, you have some stickies. So before we tell you all of all the information, we've asked you to write at least 2 ideas of what you think, whether it's business travel or recreation travel, of what ideas you have for sort of practicing healthy behaviors during travel. So for like HOGOD, some of you folks do a lot of traveling. And when it's built into your schedule, you might approach it slightly differently than if it's built into your family recreation travel. So this is your time to write 2 ideas down on the Post-it notes of what ideas you think about when you travel or what you've practiced that you think you would continue. It can be food related, exercise related, it could be stress management related, because if you do business travel, it might be very stressful. So just don't think too hard, it's not going to be graded. Just quick ideas so that we can sort of extend what Matt and I have thought. Do you need a pen? Yeah.
I'm thinking this. I'm ready to write.
This come cool. Because if you're finished writing an idea, you can hold it up in the air and I'll just snatch it from you.
How many of you do business travel? Just one, okay? And most of you do travel for family time, recreation, that kind of thing. So as I said, I think I frame it a little differently. So in thinking about business travel, what kinds of challenges do you think? Are your trips more than 2 days, 3 days?
Yeah, as long as we're at conferences.
Okay, all right, good. So, do you also travel for pleasure?
Yes.
So, do you find distinct differences between business travel? And which one do you think is harder for keeping healthy? Do you think it's business travel or?
Actually, it's the leisure.
It's
Because my day
leisure.
is less structured. This
Okay.
is- I have a very structured day, and so I try to plan everything. Exercise, something like that.
Right.
Leisure.
Does everyone have pen?
Thank you. Well, then if it's okay, then we're gonna stay with leisure travel, if that's okay, because most of you are traveling for leisure, and sometimes we have a hard time. And I think you're right. I think that it's sort of, when you go on vacation, all you think about is relaxing, right? And sometimes relaxing includes hanging out by a pool or a beach, right? Relaxing means sitting and reading a book for some of us. Sometimes it's not so active, right? So that's the challenge. So a couple of the things here, and I'm gonna start with the food piece of it, and then we're gonna parlay into what suggestions you had for the exercise. And then Matt has, one of the things that Matt and I talked about that he's got is what exercise programs you can do either in the comforts of your, wherever you have, whether you've rented a condominium, a home, whatever, a hotel room. But a lot of you wrote some food ideas, so why don't we just start with those? And most of them I'm gonna start with is the person who said drink lots of water. Certainly when we travel, that's the one that I find, even on my weekends, to be honest, I have a water bottle on my desk at work. And so when I go home, even on the weekends, which I know is not traveling, but you fall out of that, you know, that cup in the front, the access to the water bottle, and it's even more problematic when you are traveling, because perhaps you didn't bring your water bottle, because they wouldn't let it through security, right? And so you then end up saying, oh, I've got to go buy a bottle of water. So if you're flying anywhere or traveling anywhere. So I would say that for starting with food, staying hydrated with the proper things, water would be the first thing that you could look at. Now, one of the things that, you know, once again, in brainstorming, because if you went on vacation and forgot your water bottle, you would end up paying, what do you think, for one of these water bottles? $2 to $3 at an airport, absolutely. And so sometimes we're also, you know, we don't have a blank check, so we're thinking about, so one of the things in packing for your trip is to bring that empty water bottle. And so it's making these conscious decisions of thinking about not only what am I bringing, the book and the clothes and the camera and these other things, but making that sort of plan, right? The opportunity is to say, how do I want this vacation to end? So sometimes it's starting with the end in mind. I want to come back refreshed, but with being refreshed, I want to be able to have lived a healthy lifestyle. What do I need to support that? And part of it is perhaps a water bottle.
And if space ever becomes an issue with throwing a water bottle somewhere, they make those really nice collapsible water bottles now. That when they're empty, they take up about this much space, so they could just fit in a t-shirt or something in your bag. So it's a good thing to look into.
Yeah, that's right. I had forgotten about those. So they're flat, aren't they?
Yeah, it's just like a bag essentially.
Right. Yes, I have seen those. I've never used them. Has anybody ever used them?
We gave some out for some purpose.
And that was the one program you guys missed. So you want to come back. So
Have one.
you have one?
I just haven't
Used it? Yeah, I wondered how they sort of, you know, imagine.
It holds as much water as
Really?
one of those standard water bottles.
But is it able to stand?
Yep, when it's full, it'll stand up because the bottom.
Oh,
has
so
a little
like
gusset
liquid
in
or
it,
something.
yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Good to know. And you know where to get one too. You just have to come to the right person.
Or maybe one or two.
Okay. The other one that people have written down is healthy snacks, which once again, if thinking of your daily life and things like this, there's apples, there's things that you can bring to work that once again, we might not have access to. So how do people solve this? I mean, I'll tell you how we solve it. When we go on vacation, we go to the grocery store. Rather than relying on restaurants all the time, when we travel as a family, usually, you know, you start off at the grocery store and stock whatever place you're staying with those things. Other ideas?
I bring Lara bars
Okay.
everywhere I go.
Okay. So you just pack them in your suitcase. So you're not a big one. All right.
Hotels will have like big bowls of fruit, and I'll just take several.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I have seen that. Most people. Anything else? Fruit's a great, remember, here again, without it, we default to what is available, which is the snack bars or the small convenience stores, and so you can be frustrated. Once again, it's not what you do once a week, as I've always told people, it's not what you did one time on vacation, it's what you do a majority of the time, and if for the majority of the time you wanted fruit, how can I get access to that? Once again, different places that you travel, you might want to experiment with new types of fruits or vegetables, right, as snacks. So if you go to a different culture, it's not fun to try to change, to sort of adapt and eat the cuisine that they're eating rather than sort of the same type of healthy snacks that we eat. But once again, it's planning. It's having a thought or an idea in mind of what you want to do before you do it, right? Because the other, there's one hotel I stay in Roanoke because my daughter goes to school down there, and it has chocolate chip cookies when you come in. And so they compete with the apples, right? So, and they're warm, you know, they keep them in those warmers, and so it's a tempting thing, and they actually are very good. I have to admit, a hot chocolate chip cookie always beats an apple in my life. But that's the thing, right? I mean, it's not what you do once. It's, you know, these opportunities are there, it's a nice treat, but having that as what do I want to do for this period of time when I'm on vacation. So that's it. The other one that's written down here, which I really do agree with, is, and this is something, you all look like you're in good shape. Obviously, you participate in a lot of these programs, but it's eating a healthy breakfast. And so sometimes staying a little bit on the same routine that you have is helpful for your system as well. So if you always eat oatmeal in the morning or some cold cereal, it's sort of staying with that same get up and go type of attitude of this is what I want to, consciously start off with. And we're going to talk also about exercise. One of the things that Matt's going to talk about, and in preparing for this, I looked on a few websites, and people always said, start your exercise in the morning and get a healthy breakfast. And right when you start that way, the day is going to tend to go in that direction, and so having that the other one that is sort of that I was thinking about with healthy and water is alcohol consumption, because for some people, alcohol sort of creeps into and can be very high in calories, and can sort of, for some, it then leads to other behaviors like overeating. So be aware of your alcohol consumption. One of the things that we always talk about with graduate or college students here is the number of calories in alcoholic beverages. So just be aware of that, whether it's beer or wine, margaritas, or pina coladas, or whatever might seem like a sort of a vacation drink to you. Be aware that that too can be very calorically dense. The other one the last one that I'll just address is looking at menus. So whether it's at a fast food place or whether you're going out to dinner, is trying to stay within how you sensibly eat most of the time. And like I said, I'm not trying to take your vacation and say, you have to be very strict about it. But, we all enjoy a splurge, but the splurge is once or twice. It's not the whole vacation, depending on whether your vacation 7 days long, 14 days long. What you want to do is think about how to stay within some restrictions, because it's like the holidays. We don't want to go from Thanksgiving to Christmas and end up 6 pounds heavier, right? You want to start the new year off in a good position. Well, you don't want to come back from vacation and say, well, was that worth the 4 pounds that I've gained because I had that opportunity? So food can be a great way to experience a culture. So I don't want people to feel like, well, I always eat oatmeal, and she told me to eat oatmeal, and there's something very delicious about, the culture that you're experiencing. So there's got to be some sort of play and give and take in that. Once again, I may be preaching to the choir, but one of the things that we have to do is start to listen to our bodies, right? And we forget this. Our brain or our eyes override our stomach. Our stomach, if we eat within a 20-minute period, start to tell us that we're full. But a lot of times we're not used to listening to the signals of the brain. So therefore, if we start to slow down our eating, which is consistent with a vacation, sort of slowing down, exhaling, taking a little bit longer, not rushing through things, start to listen to your signals and see if you can't re-engage those body signals that tell you, I'm full, maybe I should stop eating. But those signals, once again, in the fast-paced life we lead, we don't think about those signals. We're on to the next thing so quickly. We didn't ever experience it, enjoy the food we were eating, nor did we listen to our stomach telling our brain, you know what, I feel full, maybe I should stop. And that might be something to get back into. You want to jump in?
I guess so.
So let me start the physical activity. One of these things, and one of the things that I will say before I turn it over to Matt, is most of you talked about walking in new cities. One of the things that we've done with our family is put pedometers on all our kids when they were younger, because it's a great way to show how much walking, if you are experiencing a new city, how much fun it can be, and then you build it in. So once again, some of us have routines for exercise, and we like to stay with those routines. Some people like to say, I want to take a break. I don't want to run on a treadmill when I'm on vacation. I'd rather pack a nice pair of walking shoes and put a pedometer on, and you would see how quickly 10,000 steps you accumulate those. So once again, I think that we have to have some elasticity in how we structure our being healthy on vacation, And sometimes people like a change, and you should welcome that change if it sort of allows your regular workout to sort of be a little less structured. So, but Matt's gonna, one of the things that somebody said is exercising in a hotel room. So that's the whole idea of looking at what could you do if you weren't, walking a city or learning a new area or biking on vacation. Anybody done that? Love to do that. Have you done it? Where have you gone?
Just kind of, it wasn't so much vacation because I was home visiting, so it was just around town. But
Right. But it's a different way to
Yeah,
see the
yeah,
your-
definitely.
Good. So, and that's the kind of sort of novelty that you have rather than, so let me turn it over to you and
Alright.
see what you can do.
Well, so we're gonna make the transition, as Dr. Stone said, to how to work some of that physical activity into our travels. When most of us travel for both business and leisure, I don't think we are going with the intent of like getting a workout in as we're traveling. Some of us are crazy and travel for things like marathons, so then that's the ultimate goal. But for the most part, we're not doing that. So as we just talked about, we were talking about exploring the foods of a local culture or the place that you're visiting. This idea of walking, I'm just gonna expand on it a little more, is a great way to explore new places and old places. It just is a different way to experience a city, and it's kind of sneaking physical activity into your trip. So walk. You guys recommended it. I'm gonna recommend it. It's just a great way to explore. There are many guides that you can find that are walking tours of different places. I know there are a lot of like driving tours or go on this tour, but there are also most of your major cities have walking tour guides available where you can take it and lead yourself, and you'll get a good 3 or 4 or 5 miles in. Usually seeing more than you would from taking a tour because you get to go at your own pace, but you're also getting your own activity in. The bulk of what I want to show you though is a way to get physical activity in when it's maybe not how your day is going to be structured. Lots of times when we go away, we do just want to sit by a pool or sit on the beach or sit with a book somewhere, or sit up in the mountains because we're trying to relax. So a good thing to do when we're talking about eating a healthy breakfast to kickstart our day is also to kind of get our blood pumping, get our energy going at the beginning of the day. And we can do that with some very simple exercises that you can do anywhere. It doesn't have to be a full-on workout. The one I'm going to show you is just 7 minutes that you can do. 7 minutes of exercise isn't really something that you're going to do to improve your fitness or improve your strength, but what it can do is it can get you moving a little, get that blood pumping, get you going, make you feel like maybe you did a little more than just sit by the pool all day. Let me pull up the PowerPoint real quick and then disappear for a second. And we're going to walk you through this exercise, and Mark, our AhealthyU graduate assistant, is going to come demonstrate some of these exercises for us. And you all have a little sheet also. While it's loading up,
So is this a 7-minute workout they put in? I found one in the New York Times.
this is our own little 7.
Oh.
This is our AhealthyU approved
Oh.
7-minute workout, so it may be very similar. But I'll let you look on here while we're waiting for it to load up. Basically, the goal of this workout, as I was saying, is it's really to help us get a little activity in to kind of kickstart our day. It'll let us hit our major muscle groups to get those big muscles going. You're going to use them throughout the day as you go, so getting them to work a little bit is always a good idea. It'll elevate your heart rate a little bit. What that does for a lot of people is it helps you just get
Yep, it's on.
that's my
Is that your vacation? You need some
This is what
physical
I do on
activity.
vacation.
You need some physical activity on that vacation.
There was a PowerPoint up before. And so it'll get your heart rate up a little bit, just get things going and really energize you for the day. The first thing that you always want to do with any workout is a warm-up. And since we're packing this into 7 minutes, what we're going to do is we're going to use our first minute of our workout to just warm this isn't a traditional warm-up, it's just something to get you going. You could even, like, 5 minutes after you've gotten up, you could start this workout because it's not that intense. Like I said, it's just a workout to get you going. So what you want to do is get your blood pumping a little. Sorry. And you just want to walk around your room for a minute. You can, there we go.
Is this on your website?
No, but it will be, along with the video of the presentation. So if you guys have any questions, and you can tell all your friends what fun you had. Anyway, it's not going to the next slide.
Oh, okay.
So, for our warm-up, we want to just be moving for a minute. With each of these exercises, I'm going to give you 2 levels to do. The first level is maybe if you want to go with the less intense version of our workout. The level 2 is if you feel more comfortable with an exercise or you want to maybe get a little more of a workout in. So level 1 for our warm-up is just to walk around the room. But I don't want you just to be walking around the room dragging your feet. I want you to look under the bed. And I want you to open the drawers up. It's going to get your whole body into it. You may feel a little funny, but you're only doing it for a minute, right? We're just working out for 7 minutes. We're getting our body going. So level 2 would be to do that in a more exaggerated motion. We call it marching around the room. So Mark is going to show you how you might march around the room to warm up. We're really going to exaggerate our arm swing and our leg lift as we do this. And so what it does is that just will get your heart pumping a little more.
I tried.
Alright, so sorry. And then it should just be in that box. We'll
Right.
close that out. And then just double click on that. Okay. Alright, so now that we're warmed up and ready to go. Well, we already talked about that. One more.
Okay.
One more. Alright. After our warm-up, we get to do our total body workout. We're going to start at the bottom and work our way up. We're going to work our legs all together. What we're doing is a squat. It's a very simple exercise. Again, these are things that you can do in a hotel room. You can do it anywhere that you're traveling. If you want to try them, you can do them now. Level 1 for our squats is using a chair. Again, if you just rolled out of bed, you're probably going to be a little tired. You don't want to be squatting in the middle of the room. So what we do for a squat in a chair, it's going to work the same muscles that you would work doing a squat like you did at the gym when you were making your quads quiver and your hamstrings fail. You know, it's the same sort of thing. You're going to work those quads, your hamstrings, and your glutes, even get your calves in on the action a little bit. All you do is you sit in a chair. There's a chair in every hotel room I've ever been in. And if there's not a chair in your hotel room, there's always a bed that works the same as a chair when you sit in it. All you have to do is sit with your knees bent 90 degrees, your feet flat on the ground. Simply stand up and sit back down. Can you guys see? Maybe you should do another one for us. All right, stand up. And sit back down. Good. We're going to do these for how long do you think? A minute. Good. Our workout is broken up into 7 different 1-minute sections. It's going to be pretty easy to answer that question the rest of the day. So that's level 1. We do it with a chair. If you're feeling pumped up and ready to go, you want to do a little more, all you do is kick that chair to the side, and we're going to do a squat in the middle of the room. You're going to stand up nice and tall with your feet shoulder width apart. You're going to bend your knees and drop your hips a little bit. Make sure your knees never go past your toes, because that's going to put a little strain on both your ankles and your knees. And you're just going to bend down. You don't have to bend down to 90 degrees. We're not doing a workout to have massive quads. We're just trying to get pumped up. So we're going to bend down to about 45 degrees. And then we're going to stand back up. Again, you're going to do this for a minute, and that's going to get your legs going. It's going to get your quads and your hamstrings and your glutes ready to walk. If you go for a walk later that day, you'll feel nice and warmed up and ready to go. After our legs, we just move up in our body a little bit. We're going to work our abdominal muscles. Everyone wants to have nice flat abs when we're looking by the pool, right? In our bathing suit. Well, this is a fun one. You get to watch a little TV while you're working out. All you have to do to work your abs for a minute is lay in bed, get those pillows out from behind your head though, and you're simply going to lift your head and your shoulders off the ground, or off your bed, excuse me, as if you were watching the TV that was just past your feet. It's really easy. It's like doing a crunch you might do in the gym, but you can do it laying in your hotel bed. Mark's going to show us. Just lay on the floor.
I didn't see the bed there.
He's camping. Can you guys see him? Alright, so all you have to do is bend up that much and go back down. We're going to do that for how long? A minute. Good. If we want to go to level 2 and challenge ourselves a little more, each time you lift your head and your shoulders off the ground, count to yourself 10 seconds before you put them back down on the ground. That's going to make you squeeze those abs a little tighter before you lay back down. You get to lay down for 2 seconds and then come back up. If you do that 5 times, that's your minute. There we go. We just worked our abs. You'll have a 6-pack in no time. From our abs, we move to our backs. And what's good about this back exercise is it's the exact same thing you just did on your front, but on your back. You're just going to lay face down on your bed, and you still want to watch TV. That show's not over. We're only working out for 7 minutes, right? We lay with our face down, and you're just simply going to lift your head and your shoulders and your chest off the bed. You don't have to lift up very high, just kind of the mid-chest. We're going to do the same thing for level 1. We just lift up and return back down, and lift up and return back down. We keep doing that for a minute. For level 2, we can do the same thing. Hold it for 10 seconds, and then relax back down. The thing about our back exercises is a lot of us actually have weaker back muscles than we realize. It's just an issue in society right now. We don't work our backs out. We sit at computers all day long. So lots of us have back pain, lower back pain in our everyday life, or when we start to work those muscles. If you experience any back pain when doing these exercises, you're just going to have to skip this minute and march around your room for an extra minute in the beginning. Sound good? Okay. From our backs, we get to move to our chest. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I don't like to crank out push-ups in the middle of my hotel room. So we're going to give you a modified version that you may feel a little more comfortable doing. Again, we can go back to our trusty chair that's in our hotel room. Just want to make sure that you push it against a wall or under the desk that it's in front of. You're going to take 2 steps back from the chair, make sure the back of the chair is facing you. And then you're going to place both of your hands on the top of the chair. It's a modified push-up. And from this position, you're going to make sure you keep your back nice and straight. You're going to bend your arms down so that your chest touches the chair. And then you're just going to extend them back up. Again, we're going to do this for a minute. Doing push-ups for a minute may seem like a lot, but because we're in this position, it's going to be less strenuous than doing them on the ground. It's a modified push-up, so it hopefully won't feel as strenuous as doing regular push-ups flat on the ground. But we do have a modification for it to make it a little tougher if you feel like this position is maybe not working out as much as you want to. The simple way to do the modification is flip that chair around, and you're just going to put your hands on the seat and do it. So you're still in that inclined position. Again, remember, we're not working out to get massive here when we're doing this. We're just trying to get things going, get our arms and our chest warmed up. So we're going to do push-ups like this for a minute. It just gets our chest going and our arms going a little bit, and keeps our heart rate up as we're going through our 7-minute exercise. The last thing that we're going to work, this is number 6 actually, because we have to do a cool down at the end, is getting our arms and our shoulders in on the action. Just like we flipped over when we did our abs and our back, we're going to flip over like we just did our push-ups so that we work our arms and our shoulders a little more. So you're going to do the same thing with your chair. You're going to tuck it in so that it's stationary, so that it's not going to move anywhere. You're going to turn around and take a step away from that chair, and then place your hands on the top of the back like Mark's doing for us. You can bend your knees to do this, to get in this position, because it's not always easy to hold yourself up like that. And from here, you're simply going to do what we call a reverse dip or a reverse push-up or a tricep dip. So you're going to bend your arms and straighten them back up, It's gonna work your triceps and your shoulders a bit as we do that exercise. Just like we did with the push-up. If we feel like we need to challenge ourselves a little more, we can flip our chair around. Or this is a good time that you could use your bed because it's usually a little lower than the back of your chair. Put your hands flat on the seat and do that same reverse push-up action. All right, and then that takes us to our cool down. These are 2 exercises that we showed you at the beginning. But for our final minute, because we want you to be able to come down a little bit from your workout, you're going to do that same exploring of the room for 30 seconds or marching with those big knees and arms for 30 seconds. But then what I would want you to do at the end of, for the last 30 seconds of our 7 minutes, is just take a seat on your bed or on a chair and do some nice deep breathing to really let your body settle down with the hopes that you'll feel nice and energized to go face the day and whatever other relaxing things you have planned for your trip. Does anybody have any questions about our little 7-minute workout that you could do anywhere? You could even do this in your office, maybe not lying on the floor. But now, do know that the Surgeon General and the American College of Sports Medicine recommend that you get at least 30 minutes of moderate intensity activity in during the day for most days of the week to maintain your fitness and maintain weight. When we're on vacation, we may miss out on that a little bit. They're also recommending as part of that 30 minutes a day that you do it in at least 10-minute bouts of exercise. So we're not quite there with our 7 minutes, but again, because we're on vacation, this is just a way to kind of make sure that we're getting some activity in. 7 minutes is better than doing no minutes of activity. You could easily do this twice and get 15 minutes in, right? So we just wanted to give you a little 7-minute block that you could do just to feel like you're getting something in, because we are hopefully going to be walking and doing some other activity, but it at least gives you, hopefully a little targeted exercise that you can do to get that physical activity in. You can also do yoga in here.
How about, have people used, if you're in a hotel gyms and fitness centers, what are the opportunities and barriers there?
You have to have a hotel that has a gym.
Right, that's, although a lot of them have started, although I will say some of them are pretty small, right? They might have 2 pieces of equipment, so that could be a challenge, but that's another opportunity that we should at least acknowledge. Yeah. Some hotels do have pretty nice gyms, or pools, if you like to swim.
And what sorts of locations that you go to, do you find it harder or easier to get physical activity in when you're traveling? Have you ever sat there and thought about that? It's a tough place to get that.
When I visit family. That's probably the hardest. I'm actually really good when I go to hotels. I wake up in the morning and do yoga. But when I go visit family, I never do yoga.
Why do you think that is? I'm sorry, I'm talking to you now.
Oh, no. I don't know. I don't know what
Is it inconsistent with the norms of your family?
Yeah, I mean, no one in my family gets up and works
Right.
out. So it's
Right.
maybe something weird. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, that's probably it.
Yeah.
But when I'm in a hotel room, then usually.
Yeah, it is. I mean, think about when you return home to your childhood. We sort of default to that position. Sometimes even in relationships or food, or since this is maybe a new behavior as an adult that you've established when you go home, it's hard to sort of see yourself in that. You go home and now we're our parents' child.
Well, I definitely become a kid every time.
Yes. But that might, once again, then thinking through how can I fit it in.
Or are there any ways that you think you could encourage those participate?
I could try. I use it as stress management.
What about you guys? Do you find any other types of trips, locations that you go that present more challenges to getting activity in, or maybe less challenges?
I think camping is a lot easier. Usually because you're there to be outside. So you're kayaking or whatever you're doing. You're like fishing. Like it's just
good. That's a very good point. That lots of times physical activity can sneak into our travels, which is a great thing. It's something we encourage you to try to do. We don't want to discourage that. So lots of times when we put ourselves in outdoor locations, I think it just lends itself to moving around and things. So it's just something you also may want to think about, even if you're on a business trip. You know, is there a way for me just to plant myself outside for a bit? Or even if you're in like a cold location for your travels and you don't necessarily want to be outside, usually once we get outside, we're going to be a little more active. So it's a very good point that if you put yourself in those types of situations, it kind of lends itself to sneaking that activity in there. Anybody over here want to share?
I feel like wherever I go, I just, especially if it's a city or even at the beach, I just don't have anywhere. I'm just like, well, I need to get here, and yes, 3 miles away, but maybe I'll stop here in the middle and go shopping at this place, and then I'm just gonna do it that way if I can make the time.
So again, we go back to when we were talking about planning for eating. It's great to plan these sorts of things on your travels. You know, put yourself in a location where you could walk to where you actually want to be, or plan a stop in the middle. You know, a lot of missing out on healthy opportunities, both eating and physical activity, are just because we didn't think about them beforehand. And so it really, both of them go hand in hand. And the good thing is that usually if you're thinking about one, the other one will start to get on your mind a little bit too. So that's a great point. Thank you for sharing that.
I guess the only other thing I was thinking about when you were talking too is, I don't know if traveling by car or by plane for long extended periods, you know, that's the thing that always gets me. If you're traveling 8 hours, right, and you're in a car or even in a plane, you know, those days are really frustrating. And so it's, you know, you have to think too on how to manage those. And you know, when I was your age, I just get in the car and I wouldn't stop until I needed gas. And now that I'm older, it's like I get up and I force myself to move around and get my blood flowing. And that's many times even on airplanes. They tell you to get up or they give you the exercises with your feet, but that just gets the blood moving, even though, and that's something else that we really haven't touched on, but is a part of your vacation, is getting to that point, and then how to manage your just movement while you're in a car for whatever period of time, while you're on a plane or a train to the next mode of transportation. So that's something else to think about. Like I said, everyone has a different tolerance. Some of us can sit behind the wheel for hours and not have to move, and sometimes it's good to say if it's time to take a break, move around the car even if you don't need the restroom, you know, and just sort of shrug your shoulders and do those kinds of movements. But I think the other thing is these things can all be done in your office, a lot of them. And so, you know, one of the things I guess I challenge AhealthyU to is give us a 7-minute workout in our office, right? Because wouldn't that be great to start to see people getting up and sort of stretching and, you know, and sort of countering. You know, one of the things I've started is every time I'm on the phone, I make myself stand. And lately I have it on my cell phone so I can actually move around. And so those kinds of ideas, I mean, we're focused only on vacation, but most of the times we're sitting at our offices, so how do we build this right into our office? So I'll stop talking.
No, that's great. We're at the point where we're basically done with the information that we had prepared for you. So I do want to thank Dr. Snelling for coming. If you guys would join me in thanking her. And we thank you all for coming.
Yeah.
Also, there's an evaluation sheet at each of your where you're all sitting. If you wouldn't mind just filling those out, and you can leave them where you're sitting. We